Hey everybody, it's Neil the Dastardly Gentleman, and wow, my volume went up way high. That was not how it was in sound check. Uh,
You're such a
and
shout man.
yeah, you know. And with me I have Frank. Say hi, Frank.
Hey, hey. Yeah, you started like clicking your tongue at the intro, and I was like, "Are you mad? Are you mad at the fly?"
Dude, there is a fly in my room, and it is an asshole. One of
You're
two
an
things is
asshole,
gonna
Randy.
happen. I'm going to kill it with my fists, Hulk smash, or it's gonna fly into my mouth, and I'm gonna kill it that way.
You're gonna kill it the slow, sensual way of digestion.
I prefer that to not happen. Real talk. What? Fucking say it. Oh, you've got.
No. I'm fine. I'm fine.
All right then.
Tell me what we're doing.
Tonight, we're gonna talk about armchair activism.
I don't even know what that means.
Okay, let me explain it to you, Frank.
Okay.
Ready?
Break it down for me.
You're gonna be so much. You're gonna be so much smarter. Hold on. So, armchair activism is when you have somebody or somebodies. This goes along the lines of the social media conversation we've been having. But basically, you bitch, you complain, you tell how you would do things different. If you were president, if you were in office, if you were head of the PTA, I don't fucking know. You just sit there and you talk about how things would be different if you were in charge. And you do fucking nothing to make it happen. I mean, this is going to be hopefully a much longer conversation than it sounds. But
was it like it sounded really good in your head, but now that you've said it out loud, you're like, we might not have much to talk about.
no, I mean, okay, so all right, so there's been there was this music video that came out today, or in the last few days, by Donald Glover, Childish Gambino. It's literally called "This Is America," and there's a whole lot of symbolism in the video, and it's basically, you know, supposed to be America personified in the eyes of, you know, an African American.
Oh.
But I mean, let's be real. It's all up to an interpretation, and a lot of people are on the same boat right now. Not the same boat, the same page as far as what the message is. And
what message is that?
message is there's severe inequality. That there's a lot of okay. The message for that one was, we all sit here and sing and dance and be happy while there's massacres happening behind us and people starving and this, that, and the other. But let's get on American Idol. Let's you know, all the distractions basically from what is really happening. And that's what the video is showing, or at least trying to show. And people are going crazy about it. So what do you think, Frank? What do you think about when somebody does the opposite of armchair activism and gets up there and maybe doesn't give out the message that you agree with?
Too many mouths, not enough to go around. Thought of a simple solution. It's simple calculus, really. You just kill half of everyone.
Just kill Thanos.
Yeah, Thanos. You know, look, real talk. That's a good idea.
I mean, he had a good idea.
Yeah, but I'm not saying we should be. Look, I'm not saying that we should be impartial, but I am saying that there are some states that, you know, they could probably go.
They gotta go, yeah.
They could probably go.
See, this is one thing Frank and I disagree on fundamentally. He's all about
fundamentally.
I'm not okay with that.
Look,
listen, I'm not saying it wouldn't solve the problem, but it doesn't make it right. The ends does not justify the means.
I disagree. Look, you know, it's all about that It's all about that Machiavellian politics, where so Niccolo Machiavelli wrote The Prince, and in doing so, he wrote a series of treatises about like how you would govern. And one of the things that he advocated for was that it was absolutely within the state's rights or ability to kill the innocent should it be required. And I'm like, oh, you know what? Good for you for putting that in written form before it became. Good for you for putting that in written form before it came out in German. Good job, Italy. I mean, like, look, really, that's not. I mean, that's obviously not a solution. I mean, no. Let me bring that back. That is totally a solution. That's not a good solution.
No.
But it's definitely a solution. I mean, if you're like, a lot of our problems are societal, or a lot of our problems are cultural. Well, if that culture doesn't exist anymore,
it's not a problem.
It's not a problem anymore.
Listen,
I wouldn't have a house fire if I didn't have a house.
Well, yeah. Here, let me give you a metaphor. All right.
Okay.
So, sorry about that. I've got a garage full of shit. I would love to park my car in that garage. This is not, fictional metaphor. This is real talk. Like
this is I love how like Neil's metaphors are either like they're not really metaphors, they're just his life, or they always revolve around Dos Equis. Continue.
This is the first time we've talked about my love for Dos Equis. Anyways, so yeah, we've got a whole bunch of shit in the garage. Okay. It gets really hot out here. Like really fucking hot. I want to park my car in the garage so it doesn't melt. But I can't because there's a whole bunch of shit in there, right? So, but there's a lot of good stuff in there. Not shit, but like, I don't know, computer parts and trinkets and...
are your computer parts more than a week old?
Yes.
Then they're shit. Sorry.
Fucking elitist over here. But there's a lot of memorable things in there. There's a lot of heirlooms. There's a lot of pictures and stuff right there. So my general solution, and this goes against exactly what I said because I kind of value human life over things, but my general solution is just to fucking throw 90% of that shit out, like in the dumpster, set it on fire.
Why do I feel like we are becoming one? Like we're actually meeting in a good place. See, I always say I would make a terrible president, but I would make an excellent emperor of mankind. Because as a president, you're beholden to rules of law. As the emperor, just do whatever the fuck you have to.
Yeah.
I mean, you're like, you know what? I'm gonna conquer the universe, but first at home. Some of y'all ain't gonna make it home. That's all I'm saying.
Gotta go. Look,
yeah.
It's not a good solution. I mean, I'm just impatient.
I never said it was a good solution. I said it was a solution.
But I mean, same thing with the freaking garage metaphor. I should actually probably go through each one of those and figure out what's worth keeping. But
is it not faster just to simply burn your house down?
Yes, it is the easy solution. Fuck it.
I mean, just throw it away. Start over. Start over with a clean garage and fill it up full of garbage over time all over again.
And then I gotta keep on doing that shit.
And it's fun every time.
No, it's not.
I feel like we're not talking about the same thing anymore.
Look, I mean, you're talking about human lives. I'm talking about boxes of shit. Right? I mean, I was trying to make a metaphor, but it doesn't really work because one thing's more important than the other, I mean.
Because I will never stop equating the stuff in your garage to human life. Because I know where that metaphor is coming from, and I really want to be on the bandwagon of just like, liquidate people!
Anyways, armchair activism. So have you ever had one of those friends that and I have, but I'm just asking you. You ever had one of those friends where you just go over to hang out with them, right? And all they ever do is just talk shit about, oh, Mandy over there, such a whore. I mean, really? But those people, the ones that are talking shit, all they ever do is the same shit every day, all day. They never do make anything of themselves. They're very unhealthy. I'm not trying to single anybody out here, but I know a lot of people like this.
Why do I feel like he might be talking about me?
No, no.
I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, like, no. But see, here's the thing. I know that you're not talking about me because I don't have any friends I hang out with.
That's true. Because you left us. You ran away from us. But yeah, I mean, so like, do you know of anybody that just sits there and judges mankind from their couch, and is just like, I'm better than everybody, you know, like.
Yeah, I kind of do.
Oh, you trying to point at me over here? Is that what you're trying to do?
I wouldn't say that. I mean, your words. You know.
Oh,
I didn't say
it's the truth,
No, I never said that. I never said that.
Listen, the difference between me and you, and also people that have a platform, and people sitting on the couch mumbling to themselves or to their house guests, or
you know what they call people who are sitting on the couch mumbling about societal issues? Crazy people. Because if you're talking about societal issues, especially if you're mumbling and you are sitting by yourself, you are certifiably insane. Because I mean, like, all I see is like some guy sitting, he's got like his air on his lap, and be like, he's taking off for a job.
The building on fire.
Yeah, I know, right? No. And then you know, crazy people, dude.
I mean, yeah, but like, the point I'm trying to make isn't a good one. I mean, because everybody's got opinions. Everybody's wants, or at least claims to want to make a change in the world in their vision. How many people actually do something about it? Like, I mean, I hear all these complaints and, oh man, this president, oh man, this government, oh man, the school board, you know, what? How many people actually, like, try to make things happen rather than just bitch about them?
Remarkably few, mostly because of the amount of effort that it takes to do any of that.
Now, tell me how much effort it would take. Let's say on a smaller scale. Let's think globally, act locally. So let's just say something like the school board, okay?
Is that a buzzword? Did you just use a buzz line with me?
Buzz phrase, yeah.
I despise you. You know, I take back what I said before. No, I am talking about you.
You mother. No, seriously, like on a small scale, let's start there. What would you need to do to make changes?
To make changes, first you'd have to have at least like a moment of introspection. You know, do I follow the criteria of which that I am bitching about? Like if like the one thing that you're sitting there bitching about is people being lazy or people being ineffective in society, and you think that they're just dregs of society, make sure that you're not the guy that is literally just all he does is he works, you know, 2 hours a week and then walks down to tacos and bitches out his mom. You know, and he's like 30 plus and has absolutely zero aspirations for anything, because you are target of animosity. So, you know, you need to really consider, what do I dislike? Is that me? If that's not me, how do I not be that? Right. If I'm able to not be that, what steps did I take to not be that? And then rather than being pissy about it and yelling at people, should really kind of go forward and be like, hey, you know, you should do, if you really want to have like a good life, good job, start by not knocking over a liquor store. Let's go with that. You know, I mean, like, don't be a criminal. Don't be stupid. Don't be, you know, I mean, like, here's like a list of things that I didn't do to get where I'm at. If you want to be similar to where I'm at, don't do any of these.
Listen, Frank.
You know?
How am I gonna fund my freedom fighting if I don't knock over a liquor store?
I mean, obviously you move to Nevada and you start a brothel, because at least it's legal.
Yeah,
or you can go to Colorado, start a dispensary in a not legal brothel. By the way, somebody's getting fucked, so start a brothel.
Yeah. I mean, that's the obvious choice right there. It's logical.
I mean, yeah. I mean, how do you think that, you know, a lot of stuff got paid for in the 20s and 30s? Brothels.
Brothels.
Boom.
Speakeasies.
Boom. You're welcome, everyone. That's your economics lesson for the day.
What's step number 2?
I mean, not keeping it to yourself. I mean, really, I mean, not keeping it to yourself is kind of a big deal. But I think the most important thing is to educate yourself on what exactly it is that you really want. Like you can't be the guy that just says, you know, well, I want, you know, like a lot of the okay, I liked him, you know. I like Bernie Sanders, but he's just wrong on so many things. Like, but the problem with a lot of people that were Bernie followers were it was the same thing that we're talking about here, where they would sit and they'd bitch about, you know, the upper 1% have all this money, and then they'd be like, we got to fight that. Yeah, but how? Guns and stuff. And it's like, no, they have no idea. They have no idea what they're asking for. They have no idea what they want. So I mean, like, if you say, let's just say, like, you know, like, I want better opportunity to a higher paying job, and then you have that moment of introspection where you're like, well, I actually don't fit in the criteria of a reason why I wouldn't be able to get a higher paying job. And then the step 2 is to be like, what do I need to do? You know, and then you got to find out, because I mean, like, and you can't, I guess, like the number one way to be your own worst enemy as far as making an effective change is complacency, and just, you know, remaining an armchair activist, I guess, and not actually doing anything. But the most important thing that you can always do is be the change that you actually want to see. So let's just say, like, you know, you're fighting for your, I know, I'm sorry. I literally can't, there's no way to discuss it without at least using it once. I just wanted to pull, I just wanted to shoot first.
You know what? Now we're even.
Yeah, fair enough. Like, you started it. I shot first. But then, so you have to actually go out and do what you need to do in order to realize that vision, because then it's no longer armchair activism. And then you can actually tell people, you know, I got to whatever I'm doing right now because I did blah, 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 which is a lot of people already do, but I mean, not a lot of people want to listen because that involves work. And a lot of these people don't want to put in the effort to do it, which was one of the problems that I had with a lot of, I guess, Bernie's constituents, is because they wanted everything for nothing, and I'm like, that's communism, and you don't want that. Right. Trust me, you don't want that. I'm like, look, I know I joke about like icing half the country, and well, joke. I mean, like, I you know, I know I talk about I know I joke about talking like icing half the country, but I mean, like, you really want to get on the fast track to gulags and concentration camps? Let's go for some communism. I mean, you really don't want that. I know a lot of these Antifa idiots think that it's going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread, which is going to be hysterical whenever they're like looking at a firing squad.
Right.
Like, can you imagine their faces? I wanted this.
That's the thing, is like, okay, so you get your armchair activism, and you get your actual activists, but they're misguided, or at least they don't think they're misguided, obviously. But
well, okay. anyone who is actually misguided never thinks they're misguided.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about crazy people. They don't know they're crazy.
Think about Leo and Shutter Island.
Blew my mind. That was a good movie.
I mean, no, I called it the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, well, that's good. You're movie
because I read. I read books. You know, that's what happens to me.
Think you're better than me?
No, I don't think so. I know so.
Oh, motherfucker. So, yeah, I mean, look at where we're at right now. Do you see, like, okay, I'm not trying to, like, point anybody out here. I'm not trying to make anybody feel stupid.
That means you're going to talk about me.
No, I'm going to talk about... we'll keep it brief, though. I'm going to talk quickly about Trump real quick. There's a lot of people out there that did vote for Trump and regret it.
Sure.
A whole lot. Like,
well, there's a lot of people, yeah, but I mean, like, on the flip side, you know, there's been everybody who's ever voted for a president, they didn't perform to their expectations, they regretted it. I mean, like, there's a ton of people who are like, you know, I want the change. You know, he's trying not to insult my area. I don't blame him. But, you know, that voted for Obese, and they're like, we really want this change, and then all they got was change. I mean, like, change. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't actually, nothing literally changed. And the only difference was that, you know, middle America got like a big old wiener shoved clean through it. And that was it, the end. And then you have the exact same thing happening to Trump, but just with a different demographic.
Sure. I mean, I don't know. The way it's currently set up, can anybody really make, any one man really make that kind of change? No, probably not.
Sure, you can.
You could try, but you need
It
a
really,
whole lot.
I mean, it's really not that hard. The only hard part is actually sticking to your guns and actually draining the swamp. Don't just make it part of like your campaign slogan rhetoric, and then actually be the fudgiest turd in the swamp. I mean, like, you know, whenever, like, because at this point, you know, your senators, your senators and your councilmen are pretty much, they're practically, they actually do at this point need NASCAR fire suits. Yes. Because they're so bought and paid for, it's ridiculous. And then, you know, the president himself, I think we push too much on the president and elects, not the Senate, House, and more local elections. I mean, that's really true because the president has a lot of power. Don't get me wrong, but he is by far not the most important branch of the executive branch. So, I mean, like, whenever you have, do you want one demented child king, or do you want 485 demented child kings?
Right.
You know, I mean, and really, you got like a handful of senators and politicians that are actually like worth the shit and that actually are doing their jobs honestly, and then you've got a ton that aren't. So whenever if you really want to see a change, if you really want to be effective, you need to clean that out. You need to make sure that those people don't get reelected. Problem is, they have tons of money. So I mean, like, one man could make a ton of difference. That man has to go into politics with altruistic intentions, or with at least noble intentions, which so far in the last 45 years no one's done.
Right.
You know, I mean because we had, up until, you know, the middle to latter 19 well, I guess when did he die? 63. 1963, we had presidents that were like that, and now we don't. We have, you know, what, I mean, not even politicians, like corporate shills,
right,
that are in presidential guise. And you know, one could argue Reagan was very close to being, like, you know, your altruistic type president, because he did a lot of very good things, but he also savaged the economy and the economic sector.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, as a president, he acted very presidential, and everybody else after him was pretty much a fucking joke. So yeah, there you go. He's Senator North Carolina. He's decided not to run again, and he keeps flip-flopping like a flounder on a hot beach.
You get that a lot. I mean, politicians in general. There's very few politicians out there that really do just stick by their guns. I mean, but you have to also understand that they have to represent their people. So, I mean, they might have their own personal views, and a lot of them actually just stick with them, however forward they might be. But then you got your people that, like, I don't know. Look at Oklahoma, for example. It was pretty cut and dried, 60-40, Republican to Democrat. Okay, 40% of the population there strongly disagreed with everything that was going on. Yet, you know, the governor there kept on sticking to the 60%, which is their job. But I mean, you have to, you as a politician, you have to stick with the biggest voice in your community. Now, that being said, you also have to have a fucking brain and realize when something is wrong, and there's a whole bunch of people getting behind the wrong message. You know, and how do you do that without getting thrown out of your fucking position in a heartbeat? I mean, you got 60% of the people that want you to do a thing, and you're like, no, that's not cool. Then you're out on your ass next election cycle, you know? So sure. What can you do?
This is one of the things that when discussing democracy at large, Aristotle felt that democracy was hideously flawed in this. And this was back in Greece, where they had it was a more open democracy than it is now. Mm-hmm. But the problem is that you had a vote by majority, which is pretty much what we have now. But the problem with it is that you have, which is exactly the way that it is now, and the reason why Aristotle hated democracy. Well, I say hated. He liked democracy, but he didn't like how it operated. based on the majority. So you have a whole bunch of people who are ignorant savages that don't know shit about shit, and they're easily swayed because they're just, you know, they're your everyman, they're idiots, and it's easy to convince them of anything. So, you know, you give them a buzz line, you give them a little bit of money, or you give them an empty promise that they totally buy into because you're just telling them whatever you want to, and they'll vote for any way that you tell them to. And that's the same problem that we're having now, because you have a whole bunch of people who give empty promises, and even if it's something stupid, and you know, like if you or me or Steph looked at it and we go, that's a little horse shit. And or you look at it and go, that's actually, you know, that sounds really good in theory, but that is ultra damaging both to the economy and to the state at large. I can't vote for that because that would devastate things. But, you know, whenever the person selling it to you at face value says, oh, this is going to be the best thing that you could ever do, and the force majeure says, that's a great idea. You know, I mean, like if you say it's the best idea, then I think it's the best idea because I want to vote for the best idea. And so you get a shitload of people that vote for the absolutely wrong thing. So then one of the things that Aristotle wrote is that there needs to be an intellectual elite that are the ones that are permitted to vote. Everyone else you basically would need to pass an intelligence or aptitude test in order to be able to have your voice be heard, because the understanding was that you're too fucking stupid to know what is actually good for you. And it's not necessarily, I mean, that sounds harsh, but here's the thing. It's not necessarily that. What it is that there's a lot of people, you know, again, like, let's just say, like, you know, your common everyman, let's just say layman for, you know, the sake of argument, doesn't know anything about politics, doesn't know anything about taxes, doesn't know anything about how, you know, local government infrastructure is supposed to be laid out. But he's being told by somebody that if he votes for this increase in the local government's administrative budget, it will make his taxes go down. And he's like, that's awesome. You know, that's a great plan. But in that same plan, like if you actually either read it or if you really think about it, that money has to come from somewhere. So then an administrative increase would be more money for the senator or whatever. And then, you know, that money would be then siphoned away from something, presumably, if depending on how red or blue your state is, probably education. And then, so then this guy's like, whoa, what do you mean? What do you mean? Like the school had to close down or had to fire 4 teachers? You know, what the fuck? I mean, I thought we were supposed to be all better, because he doesn't think about it. He doesn't know any better. So then if you had somebody that actually understood politics and understood the way that things worked and the way that policies, taxes, etc., were formulated and created and moved forward, then you would be able to have somebody that go, I see what you're doing there, and you're a selfish motherfucker, and there's no way I'm gonna let you do that. Sorry. Because the idea being that, like, dishonesty is intellectualism. Right. So, like, doing things for the good of society is the smart move, which means that intellectuals and philosophers in particular, in Aristotle's view, would be doing the right thing all the time, because that's what he would do. But basically, very few people actually can do that, because Aristotle was, of course, unique, which is why he's still around for like 7,000 years. But I mean, you know.
I mean, you're right. 1,000 years ago, he was able to break it all down.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still true today.
Nothing changes. I mean, literally,
it's the same.
It's the same problem that we've had in democracy, that we have in this democracy right now, is the exact same problem that they had in their democracy.
Mm-hmm. And
I mean, none of it's changed.
And it's very easily predictable. And it's not necessarily because, oh, this is the type of government this is. It's because you give people rules. Period. You give people a set of rules, and those are the constants in the equation, right? The variable is human behavior. The variable is human tendencies. What does a human do typically? Well, that could change. I mean, it really depends on the human, but if you look at it in a probability sense, what happens when you give a human power? Most of the time, what happens?
I kill everyone in the world.
They misuse that power. Okay.
Is it misuse? Or is it the purest form of justice?
Is it mercy?
It's mercy.
like
give you mercy.
you look at like, okay, look at like Senate as a whole. Okay, you look at the people that get the most media coverage. Those are the ones making the most controversial fucking decisions, right?
Oh my God, what was it? I'm looking at you, Grandpa Monster. I can't remember his name.
Which one?
Ted Cruz.
Oh,
That's it,
God.
Ted Cruz.
There you
Yeah.
go.
I mean, he says some dumbest shit, and people are like, I'm gonna vote for him. And I'm like, but why? But why? I mean, like, it's like, do you listen to what he says? He's a fucking idiot.
He's crazy. But like, yeah, so you put people into power. I mean, they wheel and deal their way into power, whether it be for good or for bad, or, I mean, it's obviously good disguise or bad disguise is good, but you get them there, and they're like, damn, it's so easy when I can help make the rules. Let's make the rules help me. You know?
I'm going to vote for the senators to get a 40% increase in our annual salary. Thank you.
I'm sorry, sir. Where's that money going to come from? Well,
Education.
I already went through school, so I don't need it anymore.
Yeah, I'm educated, so fuck everyone else. My daddy had enough money to put me into private school where the money is actually good.
Bingo. And that's, I mean, obviously where any government's going to fail. like you look at, socialism, which is where we might have gone if we elected Bernie. It was a good idea, kinda. I mean, everybody would have something, and nobody would have nothing. That's a good idea. Everybody gets a piece of the pie. Well,
and then no one does anything ever again.
Yeah, and then your fucking economy collapses. I mean, you were looking out for the good, but it turned to shit because that's how socialism always fucking turns. Like, it's historically gone that way. It becomes communism plus dictatorship every single time.
Welcome to the Gulag.
So I can understand, like, I mean, I was pretty big on Bernie getting in office, but it wasn't because I love socialism. It was because I think that a government needs to run with all the good parts of all the different government systems. A little bit of socialism, a little bit of democracy. I mean, take what you can from and put it together and make a solid government. But the problem with that is, I mean, you're honestly, like a lot of people experienced this last 3, 4, 5 elections, is you're buying somebody's bullshit and throwing a dart at the dartboard and crossing your fingers. I mean, they could say whatever the fuck they want. They don't have to keep their promises. I mean, they get 4 years unless they get impeached. So they could say a whole lot of shit, do the exact opposite, and as long as the Senate and the House doesn't say, "Hey, now, that's not cool," we're fucked. We did not get what we paid for. Yeah,
you deal with it. I mean, like, I have 2 things, but one before I address that, because I find that an interesting statement. I actually was considering Bernie whenever we're doing the last election. I mean, because I felt like he was the better option in all of them, and honestly, because like whenever like you PolitiFact looked at all of the stuff that he said, he basically told the truth most of the time.
Yeah,
and it was never like a lie. It was just varying degrees of the truth or like the complete truth, and the majority of it was the complete truth. And I'm like, look, you know what? That at this point, okay, so he's a little bit of a socialist. I mean, like, I am not cool with that, but at the same time, what I am cool with is somebody who's actually telling the fucking truth. For once in my lifetime, I'm seeing a president who's actually telling the fucking truth, and I'm like, I haven't seen that since I have been born.
Right.
I mean, like, I think the last time that I read an article where the president told the truth, they talked about the weather. And other than that, it's just like all lies. I mean, it was a complete fiction. So Steph says the sense of taking care of oneself above all others has created a lot of problems within society and government. Yes and no. So I mean, like, you have, if you ever had the opportunity to read Ayn Rand, she's an extreme version of capitalism and self-centered behavior. The idea behind it is that if one takes care of oneself to an extreme. So let's say, like, if I'm a capitalist, I am, and if I like money, I do. So then you have I want to spend money on poor people like Neil because it would make me feel good to do that. So it's in my self-interest to take care of stuff like Neil's house, Neil's roads, Neil's food ticket, if that's something I want to do. But but a government, in her view, should never have never be able to force someone into an obligation of being able to do that.
Right.
So it should always be like my choice. So like I say, I want to drop 50 grand on roads, at any given point. And everybody else in society that can contribute that money decides that they actively want to contribute whatever they want to, sort of like a tithe that you would at church. So then you give that money and then the society gets better. The more money that you individually make, the better that your society should get. Sort of like trickle down economics, except for ideally it actually works. And end up with a douchebag boss who just wants everything for himself. So, but that's the problem. So, I mean, like you have somebody who gets like a ton of money and then fuck you. And
going on my yacht, going on vacation.
Give me it, it's mine. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna move everything to my Swiss account, and pretty much just like, I know that you guys can't see it, but if you guys get a telescope, you can actually see me flipping you off from the back of my yacht on my way out of the country. So, and if you take care of yourself, generally speaking, if you take care of yourself, society will follow. But it has to be, within understandable, I guess, rule sets. Like, I want education for myself. I want healthcare for myself. Therefore, if I take care of things that I need in order to get said healthcare, then I will I'll give these things to myself. And in so doing, as a societal rule, society should follow behind me in me getting them. That's the whole purpose of voting. Like, you don't vote, you vote for what you think is best for you and yours. You don't go up to the ballot box and be like, oh, those poor children. I'm going to vote for this guy because he likes them children. I don't have any children, but I'm going to vote for that. Ideally, you should be voting for what suits your agenda, which hypothetically is stuff that doesn't make you a huge flying bastard. Because we're going to be like, because we had this problem whenever we were back in Arizona, where we live in a retirement community and people would vote for themselves, which is fine, but everything they would vote against would be like, well, I don't want to give any money to this school. I don't have any kids.
Right.
And it's like, dude, the kids are going to be fucking retarded when they come out of school. You've got to give the money. You got to give some fucking money to education. Otherwise, you're going to end up with these fuckers out there that are going to be like smoking crack in a ditch. And you're going to be like, I don't know what happened to this country. You happened to this fucking country because you made people fucking stupid. And it's your fucking fault. Every time you get up in the goddamn morning and you look in the fucking mirror with your decrepit old ass eyes and you're like, oh, man, back in my day, people were a lot smarter. Yeah, because your parents actually fucking cared.
Well,
you didn't.
That and it's the short-sightedness, and it's the immediate gratification. That's what people want. And you
Give
also
me it, it's mine.
You also like, man, I just had less taxes this year. I can really get that yacht, and we can relax even harder.
That's the thing. It's always the this year. It's like, well, how can I vote so that at the end of this year I have a better outcome? Yeah, but what about next year? So it's like that. People were so excited whenever Obese's non-affordable healthcare act came through, and people were like, man, this year though, free healthcare. And then next year they got skull fucked by the taxes on it.
Yeah.
The fact that we were, as a nation, we were held ransom by the Affordable Health Care Act, having to have it. And it made it incredibly fucking expensive for virtually little to no actual coverage, was insane. Because you went from whenever we didn't have to have health insurance, I actually bought health insurance because I could afford it finally, and I actually got to go to the doctor, which was crazy to me. I finally got a good enough job where I could actually afford healthcare. Woo! and so I went, and it was like $400 a month, and I was completely aghast. I was like, that's like fucking highway robbery to me. $400 a month. That's almost as much as I pay in fucking rent. And so I'm like, okay, but I got to go to the doctor, and it was really good coverage. So banging. And then the Affordable Health Care Act went through. And then the next year, it went from $400 to like $1,100 fucking dollars. And it was actually a worse plan. And I'm like, what the fuck just happened? I'm like, what part of this is affordable?
And that happened to everybody.
Or even healthcare. I had to pay like $3,000 fucking dollars before like my health insurance even kicked in. I'm like, why do I even have it? Why is it even here?
Right.
It's insane to me.
I mean, absolutely, and it trickled down. It trickled across to every other bit of insurance that wasn't the Affordable Healthcare Act. So, like, you've got government-sponsored healthcare, okay?
Mm.
Whatever it is, okay, you have to have some sort of healthcare. Yeah. A lot of people don't have jobs that give out healthcare, okay? So, the people that do have the jobs that have healthcare, dude, like overnight, like not overnight, the very next year that shit came out. Okay, so my deductible for going to the emergency room was $50. Okay, had some really good coverage, all right?
Sure, yeah.
And then the next year, it jumped to $500.
Yeah, because they could beat you the big rubber dick of authority now, because you couldn't not have it.
Yeah, and I had pretty damn good coverage. It was sponsored through my job, and I was like, well, I mean, that's people that don't have insurance. No big deal. It's not going to affect me. Oh, it fucking affected me big time. It affects
everybody because your company buys it from an insurance company.
Yeah.
So like they got someone else. They're third partying their insurance. It's not like whatever company you work for is like, they're handling their insurance claims in house. I mean, like, so you had to get it from somewhere. So then you get the health insurance. And you're like, oh, that's pretty good health insurance. You get your $50 deductible. Affordable Care Act comes in, and Obama's like throwing out the big rubber dick carpet and being like, pick a wiener to beat these people with.
See, that's the thing, though. I mean,
you spear these assholes with this big. They're like going 300 with like these big old rubber dicks on you.
I was actually super supportive of the Affordable Care Act, not because
I read it. I was super not.
Okay. In its infancy, okay, not in its final product.
As a concept, as an initial concept, I was like, "That's awesome."
Yeah,
cool. Everyone gets healthcare, and then it becomes universal. It's sort of like England and Canada. You pay because like in England, you pay a little bit more in your state taxes, but then everybody has like a fixed like amount. Like you'll pay $7 for a prescription. Period. Right. Doesn't matter what it is. It's $7 prescription. You go to the doctor and you don't pay for it. Well, I mean, you are paying for it, but you're not paying for it. But everybody's paying for it all at the same time. So it ends up kind of evening out. There are problems with that, obviously, because like basically doctors have no incentive to try to actually excel, which is sad. But then, you also aren't being crushed to death under the medical profession. And man, I mean, like when I read the bill, I was like, this is a lot like England. And then whenever it actually came out and it was like, this is the one that's going to go to the Senate floor. And I read it. I'm like, this is horseshit.
You're right. I mean,
I'm like,
just
not because as soon as they made it so like it's not government sponsored healthcare anymore. That it was like that the government was forcing you to have insurance of some kind. I'm like, great.
Yeah, that provision alone made it downright unconstitutional. I mean, like
it was pretty close. I mean, that was my principal problem with it because like then like the fact that the amount of money that you paid depended on how impoverished the area you were in, and I was extra specially pissy about that because. I'm like, I got a good job finally. And then I moved to a new city. And then my health insurance jumped another $500. I'm like, I'm spending $1,300 a month on health insurance. That's barely enough for me to go get a flu shot.
Not okay.
Thanks, Detroit.
Yeah, the whole you have to have this or we're going to penalize you multiplicatively over the years. That's not okay. I mean, okay, so Steph says Blue Cross Blue Shield out of pocket $1,500 per person and nothing applies to that deductible. It's pretty awful. I mean, my healthcare here is actually still pretty good, but it's also from Oklahoma or Pennsylvania or wherever the hell it's coming from at this point. It's pretty good compared to most people that live in this town now. I'm glad to have it because I've got
most people live in that state because Arizona isn't really. is really fast and loose on the whole medical thing. I
Well,
can
yeah.
still fly the back of your chair.
Oh, that motherfucker.
He's gonna get away. Shh, watch.
I got that motherfucker.
Did you really?
I got him.
Wow, now you gotta eat him.
Yeah, this is for you, Loki. Hi, bitch.
Please tell me that you have an actual animal named Loki.
Yeah, it's my new pickle.
Okay. I'm just checking. I just want to make sure that you
I'm
weren't
not
like
just talking
tagging.
to fucking Norse mythological god.
The gods will
Mischief.
curse you for such blasphemy.
Sometimes the gods warning and bless you.
Sometimes you got to do what you got to do, like kill a fly in the middle of a podcast.
Listen, been in
Show
here
us
for
your-
hours.
Show us that sweet buzz cut.
Shut up. Anyways, what were we talking about?
We were talking about Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Oh yeah, so it was I have Aetna, and everybody here. I mean, Aetna is not something that's offered out here. Period. I can go to urgent care and pay a $35 copay. Okay. Everybody else here has to pay $120 with insurance copay. I'm like, damn, that sucks. I mean, why though? Why? Everybody here has it. Okay, not everybody. Mostly everybody here has a shittier job than me. Okay. I have a pretty damn good job. Unless you're a doctor or you own your own business or you're I don't know, you deal in firearms, you don't have a good job out here. So you're making $12-13 an hour and you get hit with that shit.
Pretty good though.
Pretty good for who? Listen, minimum wage out here is $10 an hour.
Wow, they get raised it to 10? That's
Yeah,
awesome.
they did.
Good job, Arizona.
So you look at, $12-13 an hour, and then just don't get sick. You get sick, all that money's gone.
That's how I feel normally.
That's how it was before affordable healthcare came out, and it's even worse now. Wasn't it supposed to fucking fix that?
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's designed for people who have no income.
Ouch. That's what it was here, like fucking 10 years
it was like
ago.
that for long. I mean, that's whenever I left Arizona, that's what it was.
Yeah.
I mean, like, but Affordable Care Act is for people who have no insurance or no income, which
Right.
is what really frosted my balls whenever we were like, basically it was thrust upon us to begin with.
Right.
As I'm like, but why? Because we had in Arizona in particular, we had shit like Access, which gives you free healthcare to basically don't die healthcare.
Yeah.
So I'm like, so what's the problem? Let them have the don't die healthcare. But I mean, if I have to have insurance, let me have the insurance that's super good. Don't make me pay for them. Here, frost my balls. It frosted my balls, dude. You get so mad, your testicle turn to ice. But like I really bothered me to like the idea that I'm paying like $1,300 fucking dollars a month to have subpar insurance, while some asshole who's just decided he's going to abdicate work universally is just like strolling through the urgent care, being like, he's got it. I'm like, no, I don't like it. Someone needs to pay something, or my healthcare needs to at least be better than that fucking guy's. And it never is. I mean, like, his healthcare is way the fuck better than mine, and he doesn't have to pay for it.
And this is where I disagree, which I don't disagree with that sentiment. I disagree with the system as a whole, as how it works. I wish we had full on, like Bernie wanted to do. I mean, like Canadian healthcare. Everybody pays a portion, and you get full coverage pretty much. Period. Not, okay, we're going to give you this deductible and this, that, and the other. This person's going to pay more than this person. Yeah, it's communist. Yeah, it's socialist. But guess what? People aren't dying in droves because they don't have freaking... Or at least... Okay, so what's one of the worst things about going to the doctor? Period. Getting the fucking bill. Okay?
Yeah.
So you as a person that, has a family and you're providing for your family and you're like, shit, I want to actually make ends meet this month. or not be stupid in debt, I'm going to avoid going to the hospital or the doctor as long as possible until it's a huge fucking problem. It's like, okay,
I do that all the time.
This growth on my arm, it could be a bug bag. Let's play this out and see how it goes. Because I mean, this is not this is not something.
Nope, it's melanoma.
And it gets like the size of a fucking golf ball. You're like, okay, let me try and fix it at home. I got this. I watch YouTube. So,
honey, hand me my razor blade.
Grey's Anatomy. All right, so you get yourself a fucking X-Acto knife. Gross. It comes back twice as big, and now it's eaten half your arm. This is an extreme fucking example, but it happens all the time.
Just put a firecracker inside your ear and just let the suffering end.
Yeah. I mean, how fucking awful is that? So, as terrible as it sounds, socialized medicine. Oh, it's terrible. It sounds. Oh, yeah, I'm paying for the poor people to get health care. I'd rather everybody be healthy, or at least as healthy as they can be. Because
I don't.
Okay.
Because I think enough people. I think a substantially higher portion. We need to have like a much higher mortality rate. But that's just me.
Of course, that's just.
No, I mean, it's too many people. It's too many people.
You're not wrong. Okay, look.
Thanos did nothing wrong. No, look. So, Steph says it just really sucks to have to pay so much for health insurance and not have enough left over to pay the copay to use it.
Yeah.
True. 30-minute visit to hospital for an ultrasound on my liver equals $5,000. I had to pay $900 of that bill. I went to the hospital because we universally thought I was dying, and I was in incredible amounts of pain, and I was hooked up to all manner of drugs. And then the doctor comes in, stands at the doorway. The doctor never once examined me, and just went, "Nothing's wrong with you. We're discharging you." And then they gave me a bill for $4,000. I was like, "Super, thank you, I appreciate that." I am so angry. Is there a level beyond furious? I think I found it. I mean, I was so mad I could see sounds,
See, that's another part of it that pisses me off is that if you go anywhere else, fucking auto shop, go to anywhere, literally, they'll be like, all right, so this is how much this is going to cost. All right. I know it's a lot, but when it's all said and done, your car will run better, or whatever. Your car's going to last longer. At the hospital? No, we have to do this right now. Okay, you're better? You're kind of better? You're not dying anymore? Good, here's your gigantic bill. I didn't tell you how much it cost from the get-go, but surprise!
Yeah, I mean, and my I don't mind that, but the thing I do mind is that, like, same example, you go to an auto shop and like you're like, man, my car, it's just not working. I don't know what's wrong with it. And whoa, and then they don't fix it. You don't pay for it because they didn't fucking do anything. Most mechanics places anyway that I've been to, like, unless they actually did something or they actually effectively like made it better or fixed it, you don't pay anything because they didn't do anything.
Right.
They never found the problem. But at the hospital, it's like, they give you like an eighth of the attention that like your mechanic gives your truck, and they're like, nothing's wrong with you. By the way, here's your bill, just for existing.
Yeah.
Like you walk through that, like if as soon as I walk through the door of a doctor's office, it's like $500.
Yeah, like they a lot of times they collect it before you even see the doctor.
Yeah, and I'm like, no.
Steph says they charge you so much and don't care. They brush you off. I had to fight for 6 months because my kid had something in his testicle. Take the necessary steps to find the problem and fix the problem. Yeah, I mean, they do, and it's outrageous. But I mean, you look at all the. I'm not even gonna try and fucking justify it. There's their schooling, there's the research into the drugs, there's blah 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 blah. Whatever. Look, it's fucking too much. It's too expensive, and healthcare should have never been like exclusive to rich people.
Words are hard for Neil.
and that's basically
reading
how it's,
isn't his strong suit. Okay,
that's how it's been. I mean, it's a right for rich people. That's not okay.
it's a right for rich people. I mean, like I
Look,
kind of want to
yeah,
argue that, but at the same time, I'm also doing this. I mean, like anymore, I actually think it's now been flipped.
yeah.
I mean, like because that's as much of a moral injustice as it is the other way around.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
You're
like,
right. You're right.
so I mean, like it should be, universal healthcare. If you're gonna have universal healthcare, by God Almighty, it should fucking be universal, like to everyone. I forgot Discord so you can see half the crap I give Neil over these podcasts. That's perfect.
I mean, you could join our Discord. Links down here somewhere.
and we're always on it.
Yeah,
I mean,
like
you should
all
see
day.
You should see the dirty butt stuff I send Neil. So I mean, I imagine that the shit that I give him is probably substantially higher than anyone else. But he is very patient and deals with me.
Somebody's got it. Well, I mean, we kind of went on a tangent here, but it goes to show we too are armchair activists. But here's the difference. Like I said, we're talking about it. We're talking to you guys about it. We're keeping the discussion going with people, with
people.
And that's the thing is like we're keeping up with current events. We're reading the news. We're keeping educated on the whole thing. You can't just sit there and have an opinion just because you were raised that way. Just fucking. So many people I talk to is like, oh man, that's not how I was brought up. Well, it doesn't matter how you were brought up. What matters right now is who you are right now and what you're gonna do today, tomorrow, and in the future.
Every time somebody says that's not how I was brought up, it always reminds me of that scene in the Robin Williams Jumanji, where he comes up, "What year is it?" Because like when or someone's like like that are like my age, and they're like, "Well, I was brought up to put women on a pedestal." What year is it? I mean, like you clearly have no idea what year it is. If you do that, you will die. People will charge at you and kill you with nail files, and it'll be fucking horrible. But I will love every moment of it.
Hold on a second. Keep going.
No, I'm not doing that. You're not the boss of me. keep going. Don't stop.
I'm almost there. Gross, dude. Anyways,
not my fault.
Yeah, like
I was born this way.
you gotta keep. You can't just be like, all right, I don't like what I see. You have to fucking read. You have to watch more than one news channel. Like,
yeah, that's a big one. Watching more than one news channel, or I mean, like, part of me wants to say I don't want you to watch the news at all, just because it's so incredibly terrible. I mean, I love whenever people are like, I watch the news. And I'm like, oh, what do you watch? We're like, I watch Fox and Friends. Get out of my house. You do not watch the news. That is not the news. I don't care what anyone tells you. That's not the news.
right.
I mean, I mean, not that like CNN's any better, because it's like they're literally the same thing, other end. But like, if you watch the two, at least if you watch the two, you kind of get like the idea. Scary enough, I think probably one of the most credible sites for current events is probably Reddit.
Yeah.
I mean, that really bums me out.
I mean, you look at these sites like Reddit or 4chan or whatever, and I try not to look at 4chan.
Look, I get a lot of enjoyment out of 4chan, so you step off my box. Those are my people.
But I mean, they're not without their own faults. Especially.
Well, no, everything does.
Oh, hey Brandon, how you doing, dude?
Neil does have a nice come over. It's so that he can try to maintain that, 50s. I didn't just get in my truck and beat my wife. Look.
Look, this is a gentleman. Okay, fuck you.
Gentleman's cut. That's I sipped at some brandy and then fucked the maid.
All right, so
It'd be better. You could be driving a Pinto.
I mean, yeah. All right, so let's hit Reddit, yeah.
All right, dude, let's go through the Reddit hop.
We're gonna do the Reddit. All right. Straight to news.
Oh God, Reddit news, sweet. Now it's time to put up or shut up. Seeing as how I just touted Reddit as being possibly like the more accurate news outlet, which is fucking horrifying.
Hottest link right now is Uber driver who raped a drunk passenger and then took a selfie with his victim has been jailed for 12 years.
Whoa! Wow.
Just 12. I mean.
Wow. Wow.
That's a pretty good headline right there.
I mean, damn. So armchair activist moment. We should do that. Like it's like a safety moment, you know?
Oh yeah,
like,
I remember when we did that.
Yeah, wear your hard hat whenever you go to the glory hole. But like like we should have an armchair activist moment. Don't rape people.
Don't.
I was gonna say don't. I was gonna say like what I was gonna say is like don't take selfies and rape people, but just don't rape people. I mean, I feel like that's universally acceptable.
I mean, it's in the commandments. Wait, no,
Bullshit. It's not like it's a what?
Not specifically. What? Look, it was before Moses.
It was before women were people.
Look, not all views of biblical things are
the
views of dastardly gentlemen.
Whenever he carved up the commandments, it's I know it says honor the parents, but I mean like it basically said honor your dad. I mean like because your mom,
like she has a say in the matter.
Look, she doesn't really. I mean, look, she can't even wear shoes.
All right, so this one's good. Okay, this will provoke some conversation. So,
oh Lord,
this has been an ongoing thing on Reddit about the Australian scientist David Goodall, 104 years old, finally ends his life with assisted suicide.
Good.
Literally.
Now, why did it have to be assisted? Why did he have to travel?
Because the law prohibits it pretty much everywhere.
Can we unpack that sentence for a minute? Like, can we talk about the stupidity of what was just said? I'm not okay. Look, I'm not saying you're stupid, and I'm also not saying you're wrong. I understand that. This is something that I've always found to be just crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's illegal to commit suicide.
You'll go to jail.
like I'm really worried. You know, so like, so he's 104. Take an extra long hot bath. You will die. Take wine in with you with the sauna. You will die. I mean, like, there are tons of cool ass ways to die. You didn't have to like fly, which sucks. Because you're in a like what Steve Hughes calls it a tube full of beer farts. And, like. All the way to Switzerland of all places to kill yourself. Now, if you want to go to Switzerland and then kill yourself because you thought Switzerland looked cool, fine, whatever. That's awesome. Or, but I'm just saying that like if you're gonna kill yourself, first of all, you don't need to announce it. You just do it.
Yeah.
Second, you need to pick like a cool ass way to do it. Like he's 104 years old. He's probably got tons of money. He obviously has enough money to fly to Switzerland to have someone murder him. So what you do is you take the same amount of money and you go to the cheapest brothel in town and you literally bang everything in the vicinity until your heart explodes. I mean, like, because then at least you are literally covered in like hooker juice and cocaine, and you're like, you go out like a king, and it's perfect. It's the ideal suicide. Alexander the Great would be just high-fiving you on the way out the door. Death by ball draining. Exactly. I mean, like, your heart just stops. I mean, he's 104. I mean, he probably would get like 1-2 broads in, and then he'd probably just be like, and then over anyway. But that's a long look. If I'm going to kill myself, first of all, I'm not going to write an article about it. I mean, why bother? Second, the fact that he's a scientist means absolutely nothing about like has any bearing on what he's doing. Like I'm 104 years old. They can stop the article. I'm 104. I'm done.
Yeah. The headline should have said Australian scientist David Goodall, 104, ends his life. Like,
Yeah.
that's it.
Like, 104-year-old man just had enough. I'm done. I'm through. I'm fine. Goodbye, everyone. But I mean, then it would. I don't know. I think an article like that is incredibly fucking stupid.
Dude, it had 55,000 upvotes.
I still think it's incredibly stupid, just because.
Oh, yeah.
I also think the idea that I have to go somewhere where it's legal for me to commit suicide.
No, I don't.
I mean, you know what you could do? I mean, you could literally either jump out of a window, or you could do a high-speed headstand right into the concrete.
Hi, Meredith. Look, yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, there's so many ways to kill yourself. Let's talk more about it. By the way, if you're feeling sad, I don't have the number for the suicide hotline, but please call it.
That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about being old or just being done. He wasn't sad.
But I'm sad now, thanks.
No, you're welcome. But he wasn't sad. I mean, he was just like, you know what? I'm done. Fuck this place. And then just like, like your face, a brick. Fah! And then you're 104, done, over. Yeah. Well, she's still talking, so, I mean, and she's going to... at least she's going to.
There it is. Thank you.
Little
Thank
tiny
you,
people.
Steph. I appreciate that. An interesting Logic song, by the way. If you haven't heard it.
Is it Logic, though?
Yeah.
Is it Techno-Logic?
Get the fuck out of here, Frank. Alright, so let's see what else we got.
Bring me another!
In June, the FCC says net neutrality will end.
That is the dumbest. See, now this is like, I'm a big fan of suicide prevention. If like it's just because like you're sad, but like if you're like you know what, stage 4 cancer, I'm sort of uncomfortable, to say it mildly. I would kind of like it to be over. Then I'm kind of like, well, it is your life.
Yeah, those are extreme circumstances, and at that point, it's like.
And the 104-year-old guy like goes right in that bracket too. That's why I'm saying that like it isn't like he was like you know what, like I'm really sad, and I've had enough. No, he's like, I'm 104.
There's no turning this shit around.
Like I get up 6 times a night to take a pee, and I can never tell when I'm going to take a poo. So I'm like, it's just time for me to be done. I'm like, I'm over with. I don't want any more, and then just it's over with. But like if you're like, my life sucks. Nah, dude, get a hug and a blanket. Call that phone number. Get some. I don't know what to do.
Get some help. Period.
Yeah, there you go.
So net neutrality.
Net neutrality being the. I don't understand. I don't understand our president or our Senate.
Like this is okay. This is one thing. This is one thing we could say he was directly involved in. This isn't like, oh man, this is a collaboration between this group and this group. No, he put this guy in place.
Yeah, and it's like, what?
And like immediately, once he was put in place, within months, this shit came up. Okay, so it's not. There's no fucking coincidence there. I'm sorry.
I don't get it, because I mean, like, to me, net neutrality is just it's a fucking no-brainer. And one of the things that was the worst part about it is that there was absolutely no option for us in it. Right. There was no voting for it. It didn't matter. People protested. People wrote, their congressmen. Everyone did everything that they were supposed to. Nope, it's over. And then the guy in charge fucking works for Verizon.
Yeah. Bending the rules a little bit for yourself? Yeah, of course.
Is that even bending at this point?
It's fucking changing the rules. It's saying, hey.
I mean, like, you took the rule and you just kind of caught it on fire.
What's that they call it? Conflict of interest? Like
just a smidge.
Like you should have been like, I can't give you this job. I have a moral obligation to make sure that things are fair around here. Nah, fuck it. You seem to be an expert in this. Here you go.
Yeah, I mean, like that'd be like me being able to give the option of like best YouTube channel on the planet, and I get to choose it. Well, it's gonna be this one. I mean, it doesn't matter what you think, and there's no voting. It's one person making the decision. It's I choose that it's gonna be this channel. Period. Of course I fucking would. I mean, of course you will. Again, Verizon provides internet access. Of course they're going to want to see the thing to be gone. Of course they are, because they want you to fucking pay more money.
Yeah.
It's stupid. I mean, the dumbest fucking thing. They put the worst person in charge to make the worst possible decision. I mean, like, the criminal behavior is insane.
Yeah. So that's happening. Super happy about that. Pretty soon you'll be
so fucking dumb.
You'll be paying for internet packages. Not just like how fast you want the internet to come to your house. No, how fast do you want Netflix to come to your house? How fast do you want, I don't know, anything other than the Fox News network to come to your house? Like, they can now, because the net neutrality rules are gone, they can now piecemeal you shit.
I can honestly say that as soon this, I mean, I'm again, I want to make a little caveat. I'm not picking sides, but I can tell you that pretty much as soon as a Republican is no longer in the White House, that is going to change.
Absolutely. You look at how
I mean, it'll be
like literally like at towards the end of Obama's presidency, he actually was pushing to have internet service turned into a utility.
Yeah,
which is amazing. It should be. Because everybody needs it now. Well, needs is a strong word, but
no, I need internet.
Needed. I need it to work every day. So
I need it so that I don't lose my mind.
Well, yeah, it's how we communicate, just like a phone. So it is a utility now. It should be a utility now, and this pretty much undoes all that shit. I mean, you don't. The only thing that they had on phones was like, you know, when house phones was a thing, was whether you're gonna call local or long distance. That's it. I mean, they didn't. I don't know. Like, did they ever have minutes on house phones? Like, could they? I don't remember if they did or not. I know, like. Oh, hey, Dean.
Hey.
Like, did they have that, Frank? I don't know. I mean, I know I'm older than you and all, but I don't remember if landlines had plans like minutes and stuff.
No.
Okay, but it was always local or long distance, right?
Right. If you did local free, obviously, but if you did long distance, like you actually had to do like 100 collect and shit like that.
Right.
And then you paid by the minute, and then it was a bill sent to your house.
Right. So, I mean, that's it. It's pretty cut and dry. But internet, there's so many more options. Like, I don't want to buy any cable packages because, real talk, I don't want to watch 90% of the shit on TV. I really don't. And I don't really want to watch commercials after already having paid for TV, you know?
Yeah.
So, that's no longer going to be a thing. It's like, okay, you don't want to watch our cable TV with our fucking technology that's 40 years old at this point. Well, you're going to pay more to watch Netflix. Yeah, you're going to pay $10 a month for Netflix, but you're also going to pay the internet Netflix package. If you want to watch Netflix, you got to pay more for your internet. What the fuck? They're going to hit you coming and going.
Yep.
Well, we're glad to have you, Dean. Thank you for dropping by, and we appreciate
it's good to see you, dude.
Efforts you
soon.
Yeah. Well, they will.
I'm like real talk. I watch entirely too much porn to be able to have a data package because, like, I mean, sometimes there's 3 or 4 going at the same time, you know, and I'm like, I'll use all the minutes. You know, like I don't know how many minutes is necessary for, you know, me to watch porn, but I can tell you how many I'm going to try. I mean, it just, you can watch my data go. I can't have it. I will lose my mind. And my kids watch entirely too much, you know, we do Sesame Street and stuff. You know, I mean, you deprive me of my internet and give me a fucking data package, I will fight you in the street.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you guys are like, you're like, oh, you got hit your 80 gigs, you're done. No, fuck you.
Listen, I think, hear me out on this one. I think this might be catalyst to start the revolution. I mean,
net neutrality.
Yeah, I think that's what it is, because like people, they're like, oh, okay, fine, this one sucks too. Shit, I gotta pay a little bit more to me. Fuck shit.
Here's the thing.
Turn off my internet, I will fucking kill someone.
I actually agree, and here's why. Because everyone on the first month of net neutrality being over is gonna run out of their minutes, and they're not gonna have anything else to do except riot.
Yes.
So I mean, like they're gonna get out of their house and they're just literally gonna like just take to the streets. No, here's the thing. Apparently, look, like I jerk off to porn stars. Okay, fine. Apparently, politicians just pay porn stars. Fuck you guys. They pay for porn stars to jerk them off, and that's not fucking fair.
See, why should that be a right for just the rich people?
Is that in the future, you vote for Bernhard, everyone gets a porn star in their own district to help everybody get jerked off. Everyone gets jerked off equally.
These are troubled times.
Except for that guy has a small penis. He gets jerked off. Everyone get jerked off because I got a pig. Let's go on.
Frank, that's Bernie Sanders, everybody. If you didn't realize what he was trying to do.
It's the Bernhard, dude.
Burn.
Swoop in. I agree. Prostitution definitely needs to be legal for so many reasons. But if it's legal, where are you going to hide all the bodies?
Frank. Not here, Frank.
Just saying, you got to keep these things in mind, you know?
No, because most people are normal, Frank. God.
It was funny. we went to Vegas, and we drove by it was like one of the bunny ranches, and I was just like, that's weird, and the guy was just like, what's weird? I was like, that place doesn't look like it has a graveyard at all. He's like, I was like, I'm totally kidding. I know you don't think I'm kidding, but I'm totally kidding. I'm barely kidding.
Illegal prostitution, I mean, like, it's a no-brainer. I mean, the way it is right now, it's the same thing with drugs. Same thing with drugs. You got all these questionable drugs out there, been fucking laced with shit or cut in a certain way that's gonna kill people. Legalize all of it, so it can be regulated and up to par. You know, not this, You know, oh man, I found this chick on the street corner. I want to be in charge of the black tar heroin department to make sure that's regulated properly, like specifically to me. Just like hooking all the vials. It all needs to be legal and regulated. Prostitution is no difference. Women need to be. I had that discussion with my dad because I said, you know, I think that weed should be legalized, but I think that things that are more detrimental should probably not be, and not, you know, things that can kill you probably shouldn't be legalized. And he's like, no, legalize it all. And I said, well, okay, I'm curious as to what your reasoning behind that is. And he says, well, if you take too much, you're fucking stupid. You should die anyway. So I'm like, well, there you go. You know what? I take it back. Legalize everything. That way all those people can just die. Wait. Cop drop unconscious day because of fentanyl. They had to hit him with Narcan. I don't know what that is. Fentanyl is a supercharged version of heroin. Okay. It's what killed Prince. And Narcan is like the counteractive to it. Oh. Powder touch the skin. No, fentanyl, like, touch your skin. Like they showed like a vial of heroin and the equivalent of fentanyl, and it was like 2 little specks of dust in the fucking vial. Wow. Like that's how supercharged it is. I can't believe that shit's on the streets. Shit. But he was so high. If he lived. It's the same. It has the same effect. It's just that much. Yeah, it's just stronger. Instantaneous. And hospitals typically have it. They just cut it a whole lot with literally everything else, anything else. Well, you'd have to. Yeah. I mean, otherwise you would die. If morphine isn't doing the job and you're still in pain, this will help. But like, so what you're telling me is that if I got a speck of it on me, I would literally turn into like dust. You would. Because I'm extremely, because I don't drink and I don't take any drugs. So like my tolerance level is incredibly fucking low. Oh yeah. On the flip side, my pain tolerance is incredibly high because I don't want to pay for things to make me feel better. So, you know, I just sit there and be in agony all the time. So like, you know, I'm covered there. But like if I take like and NyQuil, or if I take one of the Tylenol PMs that are like not a capsule like the liquid ones, but just the
the regular kind,
Mhm.
and I have to break it in half. And I take the half, and I feel like I'm like underwater.
Oh yeah.
So like, I like if I take a Benadryl, I mean, you might as well put crime scene tape around me. And the one time that like I went into the hospital, they gave me Oxycontin.
Oh
And like
no.
they're like, if you're in pain, take this. So I was like, I'm in pain, so I took it, and I fucking thought I was going to die. So I'm like, oh,
Well,
I'm
I
looking
mean,
into this chair, Dad. I'm going away. And he's like, you're not going anywhere. You're fine. Because like, you know, he was in the 60s and 70s. He did all the drug things. So I mean, like he's hip, and I'm like, I am melting into the floor. I am going to cease to exist as a human being, and I'm going to become dirt. And he's like, you're fine. Shut up. You're freaking me out. Like, no.
to be fair, Frank, you almost never eat food, so
Also true.
you kind of need to eat food with that kind of shit. Like I remember taking just a regular Vicodin and going to work because I had work done to one of my teeth, and I didn't eat breakfast that morning. Oh yeah, well I was puking come 10 o'clock. You know, like you have to eat food with that shit.
See, I get sick. I just ceased to exist as a human being. I was no longer capable of rational thought. All I could do was make sounds. Like I said, when I had a C-section with Harold, got yelled at by the nurse because I refused to take it. No, the pain is mine. Get away from me. I'll fight you. Then she pulled out a switchblade.
Cut you so bad.
I cut you. I cut your face. Swish, swish, swish.
Okay, let's see. Let's do one more. Oh, this is.
You're a good one.
So I don't know. I'm not going to read too much in this, but the topic itself is interesting. Chris Brown was sued by a woman who says she was raped at his home. Probably true, but I'm not going to speculate on that one. What we do know is true that Chris Brown. You know anything about Chris Brown?
I have no idea who that is.
Okay, so Chris Brown. Do you know anything about R. Kelly?
Doesn't he pee on girls?
Yeah. Okay. So same kind of situation, different type of fetish or whatever. Okay. So Chris Brown, probably about 6-7 years ago, beat the literal shit out of Rihanna. Like beat her to a bloody pulp in a car.
Perfect.
And somehow he still has a singing career. Speaking of which,
well, okay. First, is he a rapper?
he's a R&B and rapper.
So yeah, okay, makes sense. Continue.
You look at so today, apparently as of today, Spotify stopped supporting, or at least advertising, R. Kelly. The whole peeing incident and him being with 15-year-old Aaliyah, or marrying her.
Didn't that happen like a long time ago?
16 years ago.
I mean, like, get over it. Of course, like they're still chasing Roman Polanski, so I mean,
yeah. So
I mean, like apparently, like they're more grudge holders than dwarves.
well, here's the thing: is like I get it. These people have talent. These people are artists, and
Look,
also,
I feel like if you're gonna say that kind of shit, you gotta thank you.
okay, I gave you the air quotes, right? All right.
I appreciate it.
These people have talent, and people like a lot of people like what they put out. But I mean, it's just like, okay, I have the same issue with Bill Cosby. Okay, Bill Cosby is a deplorable human being. I really like the Cosby Show. I really like the Cosby stand-ups. I think he was very funny. It's a very touchy subject. Should I stop watching his shit because he's a bad person?
Did we talk about this like last week?
We
I mean,
did.
like because you gotta be able to differentiate or separate yourself from the art from the artist.
You can, but yeah, I don't know. I think we'll beat a dead horse if we go on about it.
Yeah, but I mean, like, here's the thing: like with Chris Brown,
yeah,
the thing about I guess rap is that they tend to rap about their lives.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, does he rap about beating the shit out of chicks? I mean, and
No,
I thought that because as far as the R. Kelly thing goes, like I thought that Dave Chappelle did a fantastic discussion on that. I'm not talking about the song. The song was funny, but I'm talking about like the discussion on it. But like, you know, how old is old enough? How that you know you don't want to get pissed on.
Right.
I mean, like, it's like, because like this chick was like, say 15, 16, right? I mean, like something like that. I mean, like if 15, 16, I'm pretty sure I knew that I didn't want to get peed on. Yeah, I mean, like, I agree with that. I'd be like, you know, I'm 15, 16, be like, you guys want to go see a dead body? Nah, I'm good.
But dude, it's not like fucking Kenny from Safeway's like, I want to piss on you. You want it? Yeah, totally. No, it's fucking R. Kelly, one of the best R&B rap artists at the time.
2 parts. One, it doesn't matter who it is. I don't want you to pee on me, no matter like under any context. Like if I come to your house and we're like, dude, we're gonna you know, play some water sports. It'll be awesome. I'm like, water polo, cool. And like I go walk into your living room and you're throwing out a tarp, and I'm like, look, I gotta go. You know, like things are happening.
Listen,
and
I'm
not cool with what's happening? So
would you disagree that R. Kelly pee is better than Kenny from
like
Safeway?
Kevin
pee?
from Safeway? I mean, not particularly.
Sex cult. I don't remember about that. Go ahead and
I want to know what the hell I want to know what her conflict is with the Bill Cosby.
Because he's funny, but he's also a terrible human being. Did I stop watching? Because honestly, Cosby Show for its time was, I don't want to say revolutionary, but it was groundbreaking. Groundbreaking for black people. Because
it was fucking incredibly revolutionary. I mean, like, it showed you that you could be, you know, the all-American family and then still be black.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like, you could, I mean, it was possible.
Oh, there was enough, Brandon. There was enough.
There was, look, they had to tell her afterwards that there was enough.
Listen, I find it hard to believe that there was not enough pills to sate Bill Cosby's list. Okay?
The pills and the pudding and the...
Look, there was enough.
There were enough pills for everyone in that pudding.
Alright, so I think we're coming towards the end. I'm going to wait for Steph real quick.
She's probably writing you a book about what she means by Bill Cosby.
About the sex cult. No, I think that was R. Kelly. I don't know. Who knows?
No, the sex cult was R. Kelly, but she said that she was conflicted on Bill Cosby. I mean, like, I mean, to me personally, I mean, there's not much of a... Oh, yeah, there was a book.
Just a heads up for you, Steph. I know you're in Discord now, but I don't even get messages anymore when I'm streaming. It doesn't pop up, so you're better off just putting it on the stream. Let's see. I'll read it real quick. My slight problem with the Cosby thing is that while, yes, some of these women obviously were victimized by Cosby, I think that some of the women slept with him as an opportunity to try to build their career. 40 years down the road, they jumped on the actual victim's wagon for 15 minutes in the sun.
Sure.
You're not wrong, probably, but, I mean, it goes along the lines of the whole witch hunt that we talked about the other day.
But this is an actual, like, positive product of the witch hunt because he was genuinely guilty. Found guilty by a court of law of his peers, too. So, I mean, like, this isn't a case of, like, of not mob justice, of justice actually being done.
Right, and it doesn't matter if it was, you know, 3 women that he raped and the other 7 were just trying to get up in their career. He still fucking raped 3 women. I mean, you can't justify any of it.
and let's not forget that he was accused by, like, you know, like, what was, like, 9 women or some shit like that, and he was only actually found guilty on 3 charges. So that a jury of his peers found that only 3 of the women were telling the truth.
Right. The rest were just
effectively is what that boils down to.
The rest were either just trying to get a piece of the pie, or they just found it to be not relevant.
Sure. And
let's be honest, he's old. I mean, if he actually serves any jail time, he's not gonna last very long. So
no, dude.
You're just padding the stats at that point. No, I want him guilty for all 9. He's only gonna last 3, so.
Yeah, he actually this dumb fuck. I mean, like, look, I'm glad that he's guilty, that they found him guilty, and he was a bad person and all that. But I mean, like, look, let's talk about reality in his deposition where he's like, yeah, I gave him quaaludes because I like, look, because either we fucking or I'm fucking. I mean, like, you know, and it's like, I'm like, who does that? Who's like, you're like, well, I mean, I got them drugs for them women. so you got the drugs so you can have sex with women? Yeah. That's what they're for. You know, give them to them, make them, you know, loosen up, fall asleep. And that's what I like. You know, the men fall asleep. I'm like, you are confessing to drugging people and then date raping them. You know that, right? You get that, right? Right? You get that. No, he doesn't get that, apparently. So, I mean, like, as intelligent as he appears to be, the fact that he even just felt like he could just be like, yeah, nah, I mean, everybody was on board until, you know, whenever they were unconscious.
You can't say no if you can't speak.
Yeah, what is it? You know, sap girls can't say no.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's like, dude.
It's fucked up.
Dude. I mean, like, real talk. Cosby, come on.
Come on.
I mean, they're like, you know, they're like, oh, you look nervous. Look, real talk too. If you're ever in a situation where someone's ever like, you know, you look nervous, take this pill, and they're not like an actual fucking doctor, like they don't just play one on TV. Spoilers, don't take that fucking pill.
Dr.
Holy
Huxtable.
shit. Yeah, Dr. Huxtable just gave me a pill and says it'll help me relax. You're going to be having a bad time.
All right.
It's going to be a bad time.
I think that was good. Let's wrap this fucker up. It does blow my mind. He probably could have screwed whoever he wanted. You know, I was gonna say the same thing. He didn't really need the pills.
He doesn't, but that's his thing. So I mean, like, you know, he likes to have sex with sleeping girls. Might as well just fuck a dead body.
Okay,
he can probably pay for that too.
Okay,
you know,
so
I mean, whatever.
To me, it's one of two things. Either that's his fetish, or he got rejected one time, and it was one time too many. Like,
no, I mean, like, I believe in the deposition he actually mentions that it is legitimately his fetish.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
And I'm like, I guess, but I mean, like, you probably should have somebody write something
a contract
down.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know,
like, are you cool with this? Can you write it down, please?
You know, you need to write here in your own words that, you know, when you wake up and you're all tore up from the floor up, that you were totally down. Not going to put me in jail 30 years from now. I'm just saying.
Oh, man. All right, guys. So, thank you so very much for dropping by. Especially Dean. I mean, seriously, all the way from Japan. That was really cool of you. We'd love to have you on the show, or at least
I want to do a podcast from Japan whenever we go.
Yeah, do it for sure.
It'd be like a midnight podcast.
If you like what you saw, like what you heard, please like, rate, comment, subscribe. Do all the things all the other annoying YouTubers tell you to do. Follow us on Twitter. Like
I'm
us
not
on
that
Facebook.
annoying. I'm not that annoying.
I mean,
thank you very much.
Yeah.
Professional courtesy.
I mean,
Wow.
I just can't work like this. Maybe come back.
I can't believe you've done this.
Follow us on Twitter. Like us on Facebook, please.
Where did all my England friends go?
Oh, who followed us? Who followed us?
Brandon, thank you.
Brandon, thanks, dude. Appreciate you. Right at the end there, too. You got to see me with my one-up face.
I wish I could not.
You know what? It's too bad. It's in your brain now. Anywho, let's get the outro music going here. So, thanks again. We shall see you next time. Bye!
Look at this photograph.